Welcome to this session. The session is about the data table and with an example of the CRUD operations. So the main goal of this session is to recreate this page. And if you see, I try to make it two parts. One to display the data for the record, and one to display the data table with some buttons to control the data table. And for each part, you will notice that we have many colors. These colors, it represents the style box. So I use style box in order to group component. So for example, here I have this style box that group all the icons that I need to control the data table. The same for this waveform to display the data. I have many style box, and for this one, like example, I have another style box in it. So to start using this, I need to go to Qodly Studio. In the data, I know for sure that I have some users linked to the addresses, and I have full address as a computed attribute to get the address as a text field. For now, what I had to do, I will create the home page. So this is the home page. I will drag and drop two style box, and one I will use it to display the data table, and the other one to display the data for the record or the selected record. So let's drag and drop a waveform loader for this section and another one for this section. I will create two waveforms, one for the data table. Let's call it data table. And another one, let's call it edit user. So for the first one, I will link it to the data table. The second one, I will link it to edit user. But it's not what I'm looking for. And this is why I use the style box. So now I will go to the waveform. Here is the style box parent, and I can change the display to flex. And here it starts taking forms. So for example, I want this part to take 75% and the other part 25%. We will notice that we have a padding here. So to remove it, I can just go to the waveform. You will notice that it's 24 pixels. So if you click here, you can change it to 0, and here it starts looking good. So for example, this part, I want to make it very clear. I can change the background. Let's make it white. And the other one, it's the style box here. Let's change the color to, we'll try this color, 7. Yeah. And let's click on save all. So now when I load the page, I will notice that I have two different colors here. And the white because of the component. Because when we drag and drop the component, the default color is white. So let's continue. And to fix this, for example, I can go to data table here, change the background to transparent to make sure that it will take the color, the background color of the parent. And let's start playing. So now I will start by the data table. So for the data table, you just need to go to the waveform that I create, and I have the waveform, but in it, I want to display two another style box. One, I will use it to display the number of the users that I have in the database, and the other one to display the data table with the button and the search section. So I have the first one, second one, and let's start playing with it. So I can drag and drop here is a text. I can change it, and let's call it, for example, user. And for this section, I want to display the button and the data table. So I just drag and drop some style box, one for the button and the other one for the data table. So let's drag and drop the data table here and start playing. Sorry. Uh, one, another. Okay. So the first thing I noticed that I have a message that's telling me that I need to attach the data attach the data table to a data source. I don't have one, so what I need, for example, is I will create a namespace because I want to share the data source. Let's call it demo, and in it we can, for example, call it users. It's a selection, entity selection of users. So here is it, I have it. And when I click on this button, I can create an entity from it. It will be linked to the selection, it's user. And I can just drag and drop it here. And for the columns, I will choose the first name, the last name. I can do it from here, or I can and also I can do it from here. So for example, if you click here, you will have as many columns as you need. So in my case, I need 5, one for the first name, another for last name. I will create another one for email. Let's call it email. And the source, if you write email, he will find it. And let's do it for the others. Phone. Address. So for the phone, it's here. And the address, it's full address. So you will notice that we have a fixed width. It's about 150 pixels, but I need to make it more flexible. So what I will do is I will change it to a percentage. So let's, for example, call it for this section 15% for this part. And no, for the address, let's call it 40. Okay. You will notice that I missed the last name. So this is why it doesn't take all the places. So now it start looking at what I'm looking for. So for example, when I load the home page, it tells me how many users are there with the data table. So for now, I just need to add the parent here, fixed this data source, add the data source here to display how many records in the table, and change the table and add some styles to take all the places here. So to do this, you can find a data source to a text by clicking here, and you can just user.lint. And the format, we have many formats. For example, I can use this one. Let's add some parent now. I need to change the flex here. You can play with the flex so you can control the direction of the style box. So I need this one to be just after the other one. So I will change it to horizontal. And now I can add my icons here. So for this one, I had already create some custom component to. So for the icons, I can just drag and drop it here. So I need 5 for the 5 standard action that I will create. So you will notice that the display is not good. So I need to change it. So for now, let's call it add a gap, start looking good. And here I will add section for the search, and for this I need a text input here and another bar. For this component, I want to hide the text because I don't need it. So you don't have to delete it from here. You just need to click on the component and click here to hide it. So now I have the button, I have the text input to control the search, and I have an icon to do the search when I need it. Okay, so I need to add a gap here. Change the radius for this part. About 6, not good. 12. And the icon is quite bigger than the input, so we can change this the size. So for example, change it. Let's call it like here, and let's try it. Instead of having 35, let's try 25. Here is it. And we can change the style of or the icon. We can change it just by clicking here. Look for what is significant for us. So for example, if I search, yeah, here's. But one thing you will notice that the alignment is not good between the input and the icon. So to fix this, you need to choose alignment on center. So now it's good. One thing I need to do before going back to the data table. So here you will notice that we have a big padding here. So let's remove it. And for this text, we can change the color. Let's, for example, look for a good color for it. Mm-hmm. 5, 8, sorry, 5, 8, 6, 3, 6. Okay, so, and you can, for example, make this section more clear than the other just by click on bold. So now let's take a look of how it's looking. So here is it already. Now we can see how many users we have. We have some buttons here that we're going to use for standard actions, and we have a search section. So, but I noticed one thing. I want to make this part a white section, so to make it clear for the user. So I can just go to this style box and change the background. So I can type white, for example, or I can add a value for it. So we have 2 options. So let's try it now. Here it is. And let's change the radius. Let's continue now. I will add some actions to control the data table. So for example, I want to, when I click on this button, I want to display all records. So to do this, I can just click on event, create a new event. I will apply it on users. and the action is all. So now when I click on all, if, for example, I already apply a filter, I can get all records and list. The same for this one. I will add an action. Let's call it. It's users, and I want to, for example, to order the data table. So, for example, I can use the first name. Sorry, it's first name and last name. So this is an ascendant order. I will add another one for descendant order. Same, I have users, I have order by, first name. When I click here, I change the order, and I have last name. So one, I use it for ascendant, and the other one, I use it for descendant. Okay, so I switch them. Let's add another action. It's to reload the selection. So for example, if I applied a filter and I want to reload the selection and get the first value, I can apply it from here. So it's users and the action is reload. And for all these actions, we have some provide feedbacks. So if you enable them, you will have a message to tell you that the action has been done successfully or not. And the last part is clear. So I will add an action. And here is clear. So when I click on it, I will remove all records from the section. Now, if you know, you can't tell what's button because they all look the same. So we need to change them. And to do this, and let's look for example, here, let's change it, apply this, look for up, down, repeat, and remove. The next part, I want to bind this text input to a data source, so I can get the value that I will use for search. So to do this, let's call it search. It's a string. I just need to bind it here. Search. For example, in the placeholder, I can just call it search with tree baron. The tip is text. You can apply a format, but we don't need it here. And let's apply some padding here. And when I click on this button, I want to apply the search. So for this, we have two solutions. The first one is a standard action. So you can apply it on users. Here is it. So it's a query. And you can, for example, look for first name. You can, when you click on add placeholder value, you can add the parameter. In our case, it's search. And let's active this to see if it's work or not. And let's take a look. So here is it. So for example, if I click here, you will see that the order has been changed. And if I click on this one, it's empty. And if I click on this one, I can reload all the records. The same for search. If I search by the first name, yeah, okay. So to fix this one, maybe I just need the right name. Let's go back here. first name. Okay, let's try it again. The query is good, but I think I'm missing some parameter. Okay, so it's okay, so my data source wasn't right. Yeah, here is it. So now it's working good. But we have an issue with this search because, for example, I want to look for all the first name that contains arrays of is not working because it's inexact search. So to do this, I will disable this one and let's call a 4D function. It's search. We will apply search and we will put it in users. So now if we look for this, it's looking good. Now we have everything. So before start customizing the data table, I want to customize this part and display the user information, add some CRUD. So to do this, I need to go back to here. For example, I can apply a shadow box to make it more clear for this section. Go back for in edit user and start adding some part. So let's add, we have first chat box, second, the third one. I will use this tool for two buttons. The first one, let's call it delete, and this one, let's call it new. I need another style box here, one to display the image. And if I want to upload the image, I had already create a text input is a custom component for my text input. I can use it here. So I have the first name. Let's add another one for the last name, email, and phone. And I will add another style box for the CRUD function. So let's add them here. First one, second one. Okay, so it's not looking good for now, but we will change the style. And I will add another button here, one to save and another one to reload the data. Let's call it save, reload. Okay, so let's play with the flex. I can just, I will make them check the areas. So this one is for delayed, second one for this. I need to change the flex for this section also, but in this case, I will use space around. And let's make it around or a cycle. So you can just apply 50% here in the border radius to make it look like a circle. Change this one to last name, phone, and email. And let's start binding this. So it's the user dot first name, user dot last name, user dot its phone, user dot email. This one is for the picture. It's user dot avatar to upload the file. It's the same as image. We need to bind it to the avatar. User avatar. We can change the label. Instead of upload binary, let's call it upload image. We can apply a size limit. We can choose the media type. In our case, it's image. And the height is too high, so too big, so I need to change it. So let's apply, for example. Okay, and let's play with this property. So in align, I will center them, so it will looks like this. So now when I will reload the home page, I will see all the informations for the user. It's not going to look great, but at least here is it. We have all the informations. And let's start using it. So let's link the selected element to the user. The selected element for the data table, I will link it to the user. So every time I switch between the lines, it will change. So let's try it here. Now we will see the first record, but we can change it from here. So let's go back here and continue modifying this section. Okay, so for this button, just change the flex, add the gap between the components, and let's find what's yeah, here is it. So we have no, I missed it. It's not the good one. Yeah, it's this one. So this one, we will change the icons to make it more significant for the user. Okay, so we will add some events. So when I click on this button, what I want to get is the first record. So let's go to user and get the first record. The same for this button. We will apply it on user, but I will get the previous record first. And the last record. Same for this parents. Let's change the flexibility from here, add a gap, and let's make it more big. Okay, so let's try it now. Here is it. So now we have all the informations and you can navigate using this standard actions. So, and now let's continue with all these buttons, add more actions for this section. Okay, so for delete, I want to add a specific action for it. So when I click on it, I want to delete the record. So we have drop. I will activate the feedback for it. For the new, I want to create a new entity. So here is it in action. We have create a new entity. Same for save. We have save the entity, active feedback for it. And to cancel, I want to reload the entity. So we have this action reload. Now let's start playing with colors to uh, to make it looks good. So for example, for this section, I want to apply in the text a specific color. It's this one. I will apply it the border here. The same for the image. I will add a border, apply, and for uh, the buttons, I need to change them, change the background. Okay, right. So let's continue. For the delete, let's change it to transparent. For the text, let's change it to red. And add an icon. So to add icon next to the text, you can just choose one option of this. In our case, is the left one. We'll select trash icon for it. And now when I click on this button, I will remove the user. Same for new, I will add an icon for it. Choose from here, so it's add or it's plus. Let's change the color. It's white, it's label white, and okay. So I need to apply it on the button, not the icon. So here is it. So now I have this section ready. So let's try it. Okay, here is it. So for now, if I want to create a new user, I just need to click on new, write wherever I want. Sorry, this is the mail. And when I click on save, it will be created, but nothing happened here. So to fix this, so on save, we can add a new action on users. It's reload. I want to reload my selection, and the same for delete. So when I delete a record, I want to reload my selection. So it's users reload. Here is it. So I'm looking for mine. Here is it. The one that I create. I can delete it. So here is it. It's successfully removed and it has been reload. And when I apply a search, nothing here. And to fix the problem with the search, I need to add another action for the search and to clear it. So when I click on delete, for example, I can add a new action for to delete search. So let's do it. It's search and it's search, and we can apply clear. So let's retry it for the last time. And now let's apply an image. Here is it. I have the image. Click on save. Here is it. I have 1001 user. And when I click on Joe, here is it. The same, I can update it. Let's call it Joey. Click on save. Yeah, so I had to, I think I need to remove this one because it reload for all cases. But it's a good example if you want to reload your selection after the latency. So when I save this one, I don't need to reload. I think I just need it when I remove an entity. For this part, to make it more clear, because I notice it's not good. Here is it. So I applied a border for it to make it more clear. And for example, if I was thinking about changing it, but I want to cancel it. So when I click on reload, it will get me back the value. So let's refresh the page. Here is it. The last thing that I want to do for this section is to change the alignment. Is not good. So I can just come here in the flex. Yeah, here's it. So for now, for this section, it's all good. Let's go back to this section and start customizing the data table is the last part. Okay, for the data table, for example, I want to make it for clear. And for example, make it more big. The width, I think I need to change it to 100%. Here is it. It would take all the place. You will notice that now it starts looking good, but I want that the data table took all the empty place. So to do this, the first things. So I have the web form is the display is not flex. I need to change it to flex. Why I need this? Because I want to apply flex grow for this. So when you apply flex grow, here is it. When you apply flex grow, you tell the component to take all the empty space. So if there is enough space, it will be taken by the component. But you need to make sure that you have the flexibility enabled. And to have more information, you can go to this sections, Flexbox layout, and read it for more details. Okay, let's continue here instead of this fixed one. And it display an error. Yeah, sorry. This style box is change the flexibility. Vote for this one. I need to apply flex grow, and here is it. So when you play with the, okay, so I see what's happening here. I need just to fix it. So I want to that this web form loader take all the page. So the first things to do is make it 100%. And here is it. Now we have the data table taking all the space. And let's start customizing it now. So I will remove this section. For the data table, I will create a class. Let's call it data table CSS. And if you already take a look on the documentation, you will find out that there is a section for styling data table. So they already provide some selection that you can use to customize your data table. For example, the header, to control the header, or to control a specific header, for example, the header of the first name, you can apply header. First name, for example, is the header plus the cell. You can, for example, apply for each row and the selected row. And if you, for example, you want one color for row and this another color for the next row, you can apply a color for row, another color for row even. So you have so many selectors that you can apply, and by using them, you can change the style for this part. So let's go back here and let's start customizing this part. The first thing that I want to apply, for example, I want to change some attributes for the data table. Maybe apply a border radius. I can apply it by using CSS, or I can apply it from here. So let's apply it from here. It's quite easy. And also, I can, for example, apply any background I want, but in this case, I will not apply anything. But I will change the text for the headers. To do this, is self header to control the header, and in it, let's apply a border. So it's 1 pixel, solid. The color is going to be black. Here is it. So I already applied a border on the header. I will change the font size and the font weight. And let's 500 to make it more clear. I want to apply the same thing that I did for this part. I want to apply it for the lines. So I want to change the font size and the font weight. So to do it, I can control it. So itself that it's row, and we can take this one. But now I want to change the color of the header. To do it, for example, it's header. Oh, let's apply a background. It's here is it, and the color white. So let's try it now. So for example, the header is looking good, but I want to change the color for the selected element, add a border for the rest of the table. The hover event color is not good, it's a gray one. I want to change it. So let's do this. For example, to change the color for the hover the row, so you need to apply it on row and choose the hover event. So this one is a class, that row is a class, but hover is an event. So this is why we have 2 points between them. So we will apply a new background. It's back. Here is it. And let's apply a border for it. Is the same one. Okay, we will take this one here. But instead of using, for example, the black one, I can use the same color. So here is it. So now every time I hover a line, the color has been changed. And let's duplicate this one and do it for the selected element. The selected element is not an event, it's a selector. So you need to select, it's selected, and it's here's it. So okay, I need to remove the space between them. Why I need this? Because I will explain to you. So if you go to the inspect mode for the selected element, you will find out that we have, here is it? Yeah, we have the class row and selected in both class. So in CSS, to select by two classes, you need to make sure that it's linked. So we did dot row dot selected in this case. And let's try it now. I noticed one thing. For example, I want to change the color for the first name. I want to display it in another color. So to do this, it's self, its column is first name, and the color will be okay. Here is it. So, but when I select the element, the color is not quite good with the background color. So we can change it. So what we can do, we can combine this two. So it's self with row selected, and for this one. Okay, so I will change it to white for the selected element. Here is it. So when I select an element, now it's white. It's not the same color as the others. The last part I want to do is I want to change the text alignment for the first name. I want to center it, make it at the center for both, for the all the rows and for the headers. So to do this, it's quite easy. Let's try it. Yeah, it's good for the rows, but not the header. So to do it, we can apply the same thing on the header. So it's instead of colon, it's a header. So now we will apply text alignment center on both the column first name and the header first name. Okay, yeah, I missed this. And here is it. So that was our session. It was about creating the first example for the data table, adding some CRUD operation to control the data table. So now you have a good example of how to display the data, apply a search, modify a record, create a new one, and save the modifications. Thank you. I will